Hi there, my name's Kuljit. I live in Birmingham in the United Kingdom, and for those that do know me, hi, nice to see you. I can't see you though, unfortunately, but for those that don't know me, I'm very grateful, heartfelt thanks for joining me today. And I wanted to talk about the extraordinary circumstances that we're in right now. So everyone, I think, and I believe that everyone is feeling the same way, that we have an extraordinary situation right now, unprecedented. We're all dealing with how things are ever evolving in society itself, both mentally, physically, emotionally, on many other levels as well. And the one thing for sure is that coronavirus is non-discriminatory. It's right on our doorstep. It's just outside our front doors. It's in our homes. And we all have to be mindful and be watchful for signs of coronavirus and to help prevent the spread of it. And the reason I wanted to talk today, and really it's about socially networking with people, is that I've been through some pretty extraordinary events in my lifetime that have been complete game changers. And one of the things I wanted to relate to my experience was about fear. So back in 2017, in May 2017, I was blessed, I should say. Everyone else is going to say I'm pretty crazy, but I've said this in the past, but for me it was a blessing to be diagnosed with breast cancer. And finding out I had breast cancer was a complete game changer for me. Really, because in literally 5 years before then, I had undergone open heart surgery for coronary heart disease. I simultaneously under going through an extreme loss of my mum, who passed away from breast cancer. So being told I had breast cancer was shook me up a lot and filled me full of fear. Something I thought I was quite resilient towards, but I was surprised myself, I should say. But the reason I'm talking today is because of some things that happened to me and the challenge I faced. I remember all the doom and gloom people were telling me about different things and different people that they knew that had gone through cancer. I had masses of information. I felt bombarded with information. I saw lots of things. Everything I saw just suddenly related to cancer. And I felt very scared, in all honesty. I felt scared. I felt frightened for my life. I felt isolated and alone. But in reality, I wasn't really alone, because I had my family and my friends to support me. But in dealing with cancer, it's what happens in your own mind that helps you resolve things. So it wasn't the external support, but the internal messages I was saying to myself to try and help me come to terms with my diagnosis. And I had lots of people saying, oh, you must fight this, you know, you're going to be a survivor, you know, there were all sorts of things, you know, it's a battle, you've got to win it. And I found myself thinking, well, if you're asking me to fight cancer, you're asking me to fight myself. And that really didn't compute for me. And in the whole scheme of things, it made me sink into a type of depression, and really shook me up. And I remember that day when I had my first chemotherapy session, which I thought they were going to kill me, quite frankly, but I'm still here. I remember sitting down in our garden room and thinking to myself, I can't go through this time with people telling me you've got to fight it, I've got to win this battle. I just felt they were asking me to fight myself, and that just wasn't going to work. It made me start to hate myself, and I don't hate myself. So I sat there, and in the same moment I thought, look, I've got to speak to cancer about this. So I was openly having a conversation with cancer, and I said, look, I know we're going to have our ups and downs, and I know there's going to be challenges on the way, but right now, for me, can we just be friends? And I've got to say, from that moment on, I was at peace, really. I realised I self-motivated the messages that I was sending to myself, and even to this day I'm friends with cancer. We fall out every now and again, but ultimately we'll be friends forever, presumably. But it was just my way of coping. And I remember this article that Olivia Newton-John, I saw this clip of her actually being interviewed, and she basically said that people say to her a lot about being a survivor, and she just doesn't relate to it. And I felt that it resonated with me too. The word survivor to her and to me is almost like being on a cliff edge, hanging on by your fingernails with sheer desperation. Whereas I never felt like that. I felt I was stood on top of a cliff, and I believed that by motivating myself that I could stand on top of the cliff and be a thriver. And to this day, that's exactly what I do. In my circumstance, I let fear take over. It made me feel anxious. Fear made me feel depressed, and I was. I felt restlessness and uncertainty, isolation, loneliness, and many more. And right now what we're going through is a similar thing, where we're living in this extraordinary time, and where fear is the thing that's driving a lot of some of the irrational things that people are doing. And fear in itself makes you do things that you would never do normally. It also has a very detrimental effect on your mental and physical well-being. So I wanted to start my video topics on fear and just how I dealt with it. So by internally messaging myself, it helped me start to come back and make rational decisions and take things into consideration and just not react hysterically over things. In the next few weeks, I hope to share some of the things that I've been through myself and how I use them to help overcome certain situations. I'm planning to go through a number of different topics, the next one being on information and media and Facebook and all sorts of places where you get information, and also to talk about financial matters. I've listed a couple of topics down below, and please feel free to, if you wish to take part and contribute, I'd love that. Just message me. But one thing is for sure, that we're all in the same boat, and together we can get through this. It's a very tough time for everyone. The virus itself doesn't discriminate. The social, physical, mental impact it's having on our society is enormous. I'm very grateful that you've joined me. I'm thankful that you're here. I look forward to seeing you in the next video message that I put out. But for now, I wish you a safe and a very happy day. Thank you.